Are you struggling to make a decision? Perhaps you are considering starting a new job, or maybe you're not sure you want to start a new job, but maybe you want to start a business that would allow you to work anywhere in the world. Or perhaps you're even toying with the idea of making a move abroad, but really aren't sure if it's right for you. Well, stay tuned, because in this video, I'm going to share with you some ideas and some quotes that have helped me to become more decisive, have helped me to become more resilient, and have allowed me to live the kind of life that I've always wanted to live. Now, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell so that each time I upload a video about moving abroad, living in France, or finding the confidence and courage to live life on your terms, you will be notified. My name is Patricia Brooks, and way back in 2015, I had a seed of a dream of living in France. And I would tell myself, one day, I'm going to move to France. 2016 rolled around. I'm still telling myself this, but not doing anything to make it happen. By 2017, I was so sick and tired of hearing myself say that, and knew that I needed to get help because I was stuck. So I hired a coach who helped me work through some of the blocks that I had, some of the fears that I had to moving abroad. And a year later, I had moved to France. And I've been here ever since. And it's been an incredible experience, empowering. But sometimes it's been challenging too. And the things that I'm going to share with you in this video are things that I still use to this day to help me to move through some of the challenging times. Now, this video is going to be a little bit different from the videos that I have shot in the past, where it's just me on camera. In this video, I'm going to share with you footage of me hiking along the Mediterranean coast a few weeks ago. So with that said, enjoy the view. Now, that leads me into my very first quote that has really helped me to gain some clarity on whether or not I should take an action or not. And that is the view worth the climb? Now, a former boss said this to me one day, and I had never heard this put in quite that way, but what I was feeling was, is this project that I have been assigned to really going to be worth it in the end? And he said, is the view going to be worth the climb? And that had me stop and think. When we are in a state of indecision, when we are on the fence and we are not sure whether or not we should do something or not, that is a time for some inner reflection. And what I like to do is I like to ask myself this question and understand what pursuing this will mean to me and to those principles that are most important to me, my core values. So is the view worth the climb? Ask yourself that. And ask yourself, well, what will you be able to experience, have, be, or do that you can't currently do if you don't pursue this path? And how will been doing all of those things, once you have achieved that goal, support the core values that you have in your life right now? And if they don't, if there is not a strong correlation to supporting and honoring those principles, then perhaps it's not the right decision for you. So that is a way to help gain clarity on whether or not you should make a decision. The other thing that I work with my clients on is making a decision not only from a logical point of view, but from a heart-centered point of view. So you can weigh the pros and cons up one way and down the other, but if you don't check in with your heart and your intuition, what you truly want, then you can be making a decision that makes sense on paper, but that in the end, you get to, perhaps you achieve your goal and you get to that goal and you say, the view really wasn't worth the climb. So in assessing a decision, not only check in with your core values, but also with your heart. What is it that you truly want to have and feel in doing this? And will pursuing this course of action do it? So is the view worth the climb? Now, as you can see from this beautiful footage I'm sharing with you, this hike, which was definitely a workout, was worth the climb for me. So that is the first idea and quote that I wanted to share with you. That will help you to become a little more decisive and get clear on why you are doing what you're doing or why you chose not to do what you're doing. Now, the second idea I want to share with you is a quote from Gandhi: be the change you want to see. Now, this is something that has helped me navigate my life here in France. It has helped me to build confidence and perseverance and resilience. And it's not that intuitive. In fact, it's kind of counterintuitive. In 2011, I felt like my life was spiraling out of control. I had just started a contract position because I had left a permanent full-time position that didn't align with my values. I was going through a messy divorce. My father had died the year earlier, and I was dealing with his estate, which was not that neat. And the contract job that I was in, while it paid really well and I had the title of project manager, I was not being given project leadership roles. I was being given more administrative roles, which are really important, but which are not the thing that lights me up. So I felt like all of this was conspiring against me. And I felt like, well, why should I give this my all? In addition, because I felt like I was spiraling out of control, that I had no control, that I wasn't being challenged, which is a key core value of mine, I was starting to feel a little down. But then I read a book by Stuart Wilde, and in it he talks about, if you want to be appreciated, appreciate yourself. If you want to be respected, respect yourself. And I thought, wow, is that possible? Can it be that easy that the thing that I crave, I can give to myself? And so I tacked on the end of that, if you want to be challenged, challenge yourself, because that was something that I felt was lacking in my life, a business challenge. And so when I thought about it and then said it aloud, I really felt empowered. And that set me on a search for this thing that was going to allow me to have control in my life, as well as bring challenge and personal growth into it. And I remembered 10 or 12 years earlier having lost 50 pounds doing the Weight Watchers program. And I felt in control then. And it definitely was a challenge. So that's what I decided. I went back to Weight Watchers, I went to a meeting, and I felt horrible because I showed up at the same weight that I had shown up at the very first time I did Weight Watchers. But I did it. And week by week, I went to the meetings, I followed the program, I counted my points, I weighed in, and the weight started falling off, a pound and a half each week. 13 months later, I had lost 75 pounds. I felt empowered, I felt in control, and I felt challenged. And because of that positive change that I was making or being, I also showed up at work differently. I showed up 100% as opposed to 80%, which I could do and do the job fairly well. I gave it 100%. And people started noticing and commenting and appreciating what I was doing, even though it wasn't the kind of work I wanted to be doing. And that felt good. And that gave me confidence. And that spurred me on. So be the change you want to see can be challenging because it might put you out there thinking that, well, why should I do this when nobody else is doing their part? But when you take control of what you can control and do that, you gain so many benefits, so many personal benefits that will set you up for success in the future and help you to move through challenging times and live the kind of life you truly want to live. Be the change you want to see. So very powerful. The third item I want to share with you is about how our expectations influence how we experience life. This may seem simplistic. It might be something you don't even believe. How can thinking positively really help things go more smoothly? The way that is true is that if we set out on a project and we don't believe it's going to be successful, we're going to take action based on what our subconscious mind believes. And that is, we don't believe it's going to be successful. So the action that we take with the idea that we are not going to be successful, so we might not give it our all. Just like I really wasn't giving it my all in that job before I had created that change in my life. I started this conversation off by making decisions, and I talked about how our values play a key role in making better decisions. This one here is all about once you've made a decision, or once you're at the point of making a decision, check in and ask yourself, if I pursue this project, or as I pursue this project, how am I viewing the time, energy, money that it will take to make it happen? Am I viewing these things as something that's going to cost me, something that I'm going to be spending and won't get a return? Or am I looking at the actions that I will have to take in order to achieve the goal I'm going for as an investment, something that will pay off in the end? And these two things, am I investing in something, or am I spending, or is this going to cost me something? Two different ways of looking at a project or a decision. And if we are looking at it that it's going to cost us, or we're going to be spending without getting anything in return, that expectation in there's a negative expectation. When we look at it as an investment, there is a positive spin on that. And that subconsciously will trigger you to do things that will impact the success of your endeavor. So, as I was walking along this beach, I ran into a couple, and they had a metal detector, and they were digging for this buried treasure. And I passed them on the way going, and when I came back, I saw them again, and I spoke to them. And I said to them, "Avez-vous de la chance? Any luck?" And they smiled and said, "No." And I replied,
"No,
pas encore." Right? So here I am, ever the coach. Here I am instilling this positive expectation to help encourage them on, because they'd been there for a while. I'm not sure what frame of mind they were in when they started their dig. But definitely as we work towards something and we don't see the fruit of our labor coming, we can get discouraged. And thinking about how we are seeing it, what we're expecting, can influence our actions and our attitude and some things, ideas that could come to us. Maybe they just need you to shift, 5 centimeters to the left and dig there. Our expectations influence how we experience life. Those are 3 ideas that have really helped me to become more decisive, more confident, more resilient, and have allowed me to live in France and feel a sense of satisfaction that I otherwise might not necessarily feel. Now, if you're considering making a move abroad, but still feel like you're on the fence, uncertain of what you would need to do and if you would even be able to pull it off, I'd love to have a conversation with you to see, where you stand with your values and how that would support, how a move abroad would support that, and give you some clarity so that you can make the decision that is best for you. So I'm going to put a link in the description where you can schedule your free 30-minute discovery session and gain some clarity around that. Now, I am curious, of everything that I shared in this video, what was the thing that stood out to you most? Comment below. So, is the view worth the climb? That is the question. But now you have tools to help you to make better decisions. And once you start down that path on that decision, you also have tools that will help to bolster your confidence, help you to persevere and be more resilient when you encounter obstacles. And that is all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and be sure to check out other videos on this channel. That's all I have for you today. I will see you again next time. Bye for now.